Last week, I asked the three leading AI models in the world, Grok, ChatGPT, and Gemini, to predict the upcoming Premier League, Bundesliga, La Liga, and Serie A games. Now the games have all been played and the results are in, so in this video we're going to find out which one did best. Just to let you know very quickly, we've got Champions League predictions up on the channel right now, and I'll be imminently posting predictions for the Europa League as well. So I'd appreciate it if you tag along and hit that subscribe button for those ones. But anyway, let's get into it. All right, so let's start off with the Premier League results. So here they are on screen right now. So we'll start with the first game, which was Chelsea versus Burnley. Grok and Gemini both got that exactly right, predicting a 2-0 Chelsea win. ChatGPT gets points for getting the right result, but not score. Bournemouth versus West Ham. Grok and ChatGPT both got that wrong. Gemini did call it a draw, but didn't get quite the right score, so still points there. All three models got the score exactly right for this next game, which was Brighton versus Brentford. 2-1 Brighton, exactly bang on across the board, so good performances there. Fulham Sunderland next. We had Grok getting that totally wrong, predicting a Sunderland win, and ChatGPT predicted a Fulham win, which was stuttering all over the place. A 2-0 Fulham win, which was close, but Gemini got that one exactly right. So as far as the first four goes, Gemini's got all the results right in 3 exact scores, which is an amazing start. That does fall off a little bit of a cliff though, as you can see here with all this red on the screen. So the next one, a very difficult one to predict actually. Maybe in hindsight not so much, because Liverpool are in really bad form. But yeah, all models predicted 3 goals for Liverpool, whereas actually that ended up being 3 goals for Forest. So all got that one dead wrong. The next game was Wolves versus Crystal Palace. I was actually quite surprised by the models in this one. I struggle to see why none of them thought Crystal Palace would win this one, because Wolves are sort of by quite a distance the worst team in the Premier League so far this year. So Grok and ChatGPT both predicted a 1-1 draw, and Gemini a 0-0 draw. None of them considered the Palace win, which I thought was a little bit bad form there. So then on to the next one, they got that wrong as well. I think a fair amount of people got these wrong. They're quite hard to predict. A Newcastle win. I mean, Newcastle can always do that to big teams. I think they've got it in them. It's just that Man City have been on quite good form and Newcastle not so much. So a little bit hard to predict there. Yeah, so Grok and Gemini predicted a 3-1 Man City win, and ChatGPT predicted a 2-1 Man City win. Obviously, that ended in a 2-1 Newcastle win. All right, so on to the Sunday games. So Leeds, Aston Villa, and Grok and ChatGPT got that exactly right. Not too bad there at all. Gemini 1 goal off, to be fair, but it gets nothing because it called it a draw. Onto Arsenal, Tottenham Hotspur. I think I'm not sure if many people predicted that Arsenal would do so well against Spurs. Normally a North London derby is pretty tightly contested, but this one was absolutely not. So the Arsenal win goes for Grok and Gemini there, who predicted a 2-1 win. ChatGPT getting that wrong, predicting a 2-2 draw. On to the last one, Man United versus Everton. And again, all models got this one wrong. No real underdogs considered here, I don't think. I think even Man United, as poor as they've been, their form was good enough to sort of make them favourites, I think. So Grok and Gemini predicting a 2-0 Man United win, and ChatGPT 2-1 getting that wrong. So on to the next. Okay, on to the results for Serie A. So the first game was Cagliari versus Genoa, which ended in a 3-3 draw. So all models did predict a draw. They predicted the same exact thing, which was a 1-1 draw, so they get at least the right result there. Udinese versus Bologna. ChatGPT and Gemini both predicted a Bologna win, but weren't ambitious enough, didn't get the right score. And Grok got that one absolutely dead wrong, predicted an Udinese win. Then we had Juventus versus Fiorentina, which ended in a 1-1 draw. I think most people thought Juventus would win that one. All 3 models predicted the exact same, which was a 2-1 Juventus win. Now, I didn't see the game, but maybe it was very, very close to being 2-1. So, you know, fine margins with these predictions sometimes can go against you. Next up, we've got Napoli versus Atalanta. Grok and Gemini got the right result, but again, 1 goal off the actual full score and result. And ChatGPT calling that a 2-2 draw, getting that wrong. Hellas Verona versus Parma was next, and Grok predicted that one exactly right, predicting a 2-1 Parma win, and ChatGPT and Gemini getting that wrong, predicting 2-0 and 1-0 respectively to Verona. So On to the next one, we've got Cremonese versus Roma. ChatGPT got this one exactly right, calling a 3-1 win to Roma. And Grok just 1 goal off, but still getting the result, calling that 3-0. And Gemini the same thing, but 2 goals off. So all models predicted the right team to win there, but only one managing to get the right score. So on to the next one, we've got Lazio versus Lecce. Grok got that one exactly right. Gemini 1 goal off, and ChatGPT called it a 1-1 draw, so gets that totally wrong. Onto the Milan derby as well. None of the models got this one right, not even the result. So Grok and ChatGPT both predicted a 2-1 Inter win, and Gemini predicted a 2-2 draw. That ended in a 1-0 AC Milan win. So again, all across the board getting that wrong. And then very, very unpredictable game, this one. Couldn't see this coming at all. Torino versus Como, and Como beating Torino 5-1. Unbelievable. No one's going to predict that, I don't think. Not in a million years. So, yeah, so Grok and Gemini predicted a 1-0 win for Torino, and ChatGPT predicted a 1-1 draw, both all way off. And then the last one was Sassuolo versus Pisa. And ChatGPT actually made an absolute shout here by calling a 2-2 draw. I didn't think that at all. I was convinced of a Sassuolo win for this one. But yeah, great shout there. ChatGPT getting that bang on. Gemini and Grok both predicted a Sassuolo win, which was sensible at the time. But unfortunately getting that one wrong. So on to the next one. All right, onto the La Liga results. I like to stay themed, so let's kick off with Celta Vigo versus Alaves. ChatGPT is the only one that got close here, calling that a 2-1 Celta Vigo win. It ended in a 1-0 Celta Vigo win. Both other models predicting a 1-1 draw, so getting that wrong. Then we had Barcelona versus Athletic Bilbao, and this was a case of all models getting the right winner, but not managing the right score, none of them. So it ended in a 4-0 Barcelona win. All the models predicted a Barcelona win. Grok 3-1, ChatGPT 2-0, and Gemini 3-0, and obviously all just a little bit off there, not quite ambitious enough. Too much faith in Bilbao. So next one was Osasuna versus Real Sociedad. And Grok and Gemini both got the right winner there, but not the right score. And ChatGPT called it a 1-1 draw, so getting that result wrong. Next up, we had Villarreal versus Mallorca, and this one, maybe there was something in the data here, but this one seemed like a bit of an easy one to predict for the models. Grok and ChatGPT got it exactly right, calling it for what it was, and that was a 2-1 Villarreal win. And Gemini predicted a 2-0 Villarreal win, so only 1 goal off being exactly right as well there. So there's that one. Moving on, we have Real Oviedo versus Rayo Vallecano, and that ended in a 0-0 draw. ChatGPT predicted a 1-1 draw, which was the closest model to the actual result, and Grok and Gemini predicted a win either way, so getting that wrong. Real Betis versus Girona was next, and Gemini was the only one that got the right result, which was a draw, but called it a 2-2 draw when it was a 1-1 draw. And then Grok and ChatGPT predicted a 2-1 win either way, so getting that wrong. On to the next one, Atletico Madrid versus Getafe. All models got the right result, but only Gemini got that exactly right and called that for a 1-0 win to Atletico, which is what it was. ChatGPT and Grok just a little bit off there. Then we had Real Madrid versus Elche, and this was a very tough one to predict, actually. 2-2 draw. I don't think anyone saw that coming. So all the models got that wrong. I do just notice there the graphic for Gemini is yellow. That should be red, so apologies for that. But yeah, so they all got it wrong, calling a Real Madrid win of various scores. That ended in a 2-2 draw. Last but not least, we had Espanyol versus Sevilla, and Grok got this one exactly right. I think this was a pretty good shout, actually, because I think Sevilla were the betting favourites. So they've gone for the underdog in Espanyol here, and then ChatGPT and Gemini both getting that wrong, calling a Sevilla win and a 1-0 draw. So moving on. Okay, lastly, we've got the results from the Bundesliga. So let's get into those. You can see here, there's only one green result, so only one score was right here. It was quite a lot of bizarre scores in the Bundesliga this week. But anyway, starting off with a pretty non-bizarre score with Mainz and Hoffenheim. That ended 1-1. All three models agreed on that one and predicted a 2-1 Hoffenheim win. I didn't watch the game, so it could have been very close to being that. But unfortunately, they all get that wrong. Augsburg versus Hamburg was next, and ChatGPT and Gemini both correctly predicted an Augsburg win, but didn't get the score right, and Grok called that a draw, so getting that wrong. So this is one of the more bizarre scores. Bayern Munich 6, Freiburg 2. So that's one of those that's just incredibly difficult to predict. I don't know if anyone would ever predict 6-2 for a scoreline, even if it is Bayern Munich against, you know, a lower down team. That's just a very strange result. So yeah, 3-0, 2-0 and 4-0 is what the model said. So at least they got the right winner, but quite far off that score. Again, we had another big score, Dortmund versus Stuttgart. That ended in a 3-all draw. Gemini was the closest and predicted a 2-all draw, so not too far off there. And Grok and ChatGPT both predicted a Dortmund win, a fairly low-scoring Dortmund win, so they were quite far off there. Heidenheim versus Borussia Mönchengladbach was next, and Grok and Gemini both predicted a 1-all draw. Pretty far off there. That ended in a 3-0 Mönchengladbach win, so ChatGPT got the right winner there, but not the right score. Next up, we had Wolfsburg versus Bayer Leverkusen, and you can see there the one bit of green on the whole screen there is for Gemini, who predicted that correctly, a 3-1 Bayer Leverkusen win. Grok was pretty close as well. I will just like kick my camera there, sorry. But yeah, so Grok was pretty close, predicting a 2-1 Bayer Leverkusen win, and ChatGPT predicted a 1-all draw, getting that wrong. Then we had another bit of a freak score, FC Köln versus Eintracht Frankfurt. Frankfurt won that one 4-3, which is pretty, must have been a pretty exciting game to watch. Gemini predicted the right winner there, Frankfurt 2-1. The other two were pretty far off, a 2-all draw and a 1-all draw predicted by Grok and ChatGPT respectively, so they were wrong there. The next game, all three models got the right winner, but not the right score. Another case of, you know, being quite close to the right score, but not quite managing it. RB Leipzig won that one 2-0 against Werder Bremen. Like I said, Grok was the closest, predicting a 2-1 win, and ChatGPT and Gemini both predicting a 3-1 win. And the last game, which was St. Pauli, versus Union Berlin. ChatGPT was the only one that correctly predicted Berlin to win that game. The other two models called that a draw and got that wrong. So now, all of that said, let's look at how that looks in statistic form. All right, here are the overall stats on screen from all 38 games played in those 4 leagues we just went through. So let's go through Grok first. Grok, out of the 38 games, got 17 results right, which is a 44.7% success rate, which is not that great. It got 7 scores right, though, which is not bad. You can't expect too much from the scores, you know, they're very difficult to get. So 7 out of 38 at an 18.4% accuracy rate is not too bad, actually. I think if you're sort of getting towards that 20% mark with the scores, that's where about you're getting sort of good performances from the models. So on to ChatGPT. Out of the 38 games, ChatGPT predicted 18 results right, which is a 47.4% accuracy rate, a bit more where we want to be. We want to be over 50% really with the results. And ChatGPT got 5 scores right out of the 38, which is a 13.2% accuracy rate. Again, we want to be a little bit better if we're ChatGPT here. So lastly, onto Gemini, and by far the best performer, at least in terms of results anyway. So out of the 38 games, Gemini predicted 22 results right, which is a 57.9% accuracy rate, which is very, very good. It only got 5 scores though, so the same as ChatGPT at 13.2% accuracy rate. So quite ironically here, even though Grok has performed the worst, it has got the most scores right. So I don't know what that tells you really. I think maybe we need a few more weeks of these videos and these results videos, to fully see sort of like a pattern emerge here. But it looks like Gemini is the most reliable for if you are going to do a bet for like, you know, like accumulators, that kind of thing. But maybe Grok is a bit more clued up on sort of more specific bets if you're doing like a bet builder, for example, if you're on 365. So there are the stats. And that is basically the video. I just want to quickly ask you, that last section with these stats, do let me know in the comments if you'd like to see the stats for each league, how the model does in each league, rather than just overall. Yeah, do let me know if you'd fancy that going into the videos. Also want to say, if you watched up to this point, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And if I could just ask you while you're here to subscribe and like, I'd be very, very grateful for that as well. But in any event, thank you very much for watching. Take it easy, and I'll see you in the next one.